Hi, and welcome to another video by Jimthecarguy. Today we have a 2008, it's a Honda CRV. The complaint today is that there's no air conditioning. You press the button inside the vehicle, the light lights up, but the air conditioning is not cold. I'm going to hook up and we'll vacuum out the Freon out of the system. Okay, so now, let me just explain this to you. That's a little noisy, I know that. Okay, so while we have this emptying out, we're going to come in here and we're going to take that drive belt off down in here so we can go down to the bottom and continue. We're just going to pull this reservoir. I'm going to need two hands to do that. I'm going to need to get this reservoir out, and then I'll get down to that tensioner and we'll take that drive belt off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take off that little 10mm bolt right there, and just take this line out. We're going to remove this 10mm bolt right up here as well. I hope you can see that. That little 10mm right there, we're going to take that out, and we're going to have the lines disconnected. You can see I already unplugged the electrical connector, and then I'm going to take out that 13mm. That 13mm right there. This one, and this one. And then I'm going to take the compressor out through this area right in here. So, all right, let me get that out of there, and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so now we're going to take all the bolts out that hold the line to the compressor itself. That was a small 10mm bolt. Once we take that bolt out, we're going to pull the line out of the way, just so it doesn't interfere with where we're working. Next thing we'll do is we'll come in here with a longer extension and a ratchet, and we'll take off the bolts that hold the compressor to the car or truck itself. Once we have all of the bolts out of the way, we'll make sure all of our plugs are unplugged, and then at that point the compressor is ready to come out of the vehicle. Now when you take it down, be careful. Sometimes as you pull it down, you may leak a little bit of oil onto the ground or onto yourself, so be careful with that. Okay, our compressor's ready to come out. Okay, all right, let me grab my new one and we'll put this back together. Okay, now we have our new one. We're going to put our new one in. Now, what I'm going to also tell you is I'm not going to take out on the top right here. They have these covers right on here. I don't know if you can see that cover right there. I'm just going to break it loose, but I'm not going to take it out because this compressor comes charged with oil already, and I'm going to loosen up this one here as well. Okay, so now they're loose, but I'm not taking them out. And we're going to put this back up there, and we're going to hook it right on these little hooks right up here. I don't know if you can see that, but we got to hook that part of the compressor up onto those little hooks in there so it lines up. Okay. Now before we do anything, we're going to catch each one of the bolts just by a couple of threads. Remember, the longer bolts were on top and the shorter ones were on the bottom. Even though you see me using this extension and the ratchet, I'm turning it by hand. I'm not going to cross thread anything, right? Same thing here. I'm going to go in by hand as well. Last one. Alright, now I'm going to tighten everything in by hand until it's snug, and then we'll tighten it up with the ratchet. Okay, now I'm going to snug everything in. I always do the more difficult ones first. Okay. Hope you can see okay there. Okay, now the compressor is nice and tight. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually get the new O-rings, put the new O-rings on these lines, and then we'll put them back together. So let me grab the O-rings and we'll continue here. Okay, now I'm going to take off these O-rings. I don't know if you can see me, but I just hook it with the hook. And then just take it off. I am going to hold it because I want to match it up and make sure it's the right one. I'll do the exact same thing on this other one right here as well. And match it up. Okay, they are the same. So I'm going to put the new O-rings on now, on there. I'm going to put the second O-ring up on top. Okay. Now I'm going to get some compressor oil, and I'm going to put a little bit of oil on these O-rings before I put them together. The oil is very important because this way it keeps the O-rings from being damaged while being put in. Same thing here. Okay, so I'm going to put the one on top first because it's a little more difficult to get to. And you can hear that pop. That's because the compressor is actually charged a little bit. Okay, by charged I meant that when I took that little cover off that was keeping the oil from running out of the compressor, there was a slight bit of pressure inside there. That's what that popping was all about. Okay. Take this out. Put our line in. So now we got that top bolt caught. We're just going to snug it in. Okay, just make sure that this bolt up here now on that top is tight. Now remember, it doesn't have to be gorilla tight, it just has to be snug. clean off a little bit up here. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take out that other 10 millimeter down here, and we'll put our new O-ring and line into this bottom one here as well. Remember, there might be a little bit of a puff out of it of oil or something, but nothing to worry about. Alright, oh, nothing came out. Alright, so now to get that in there, you're just going to not push it hard, you're just going to push lightly, and it goes right in there. You don't want to force it because you don't want to damage that O-ring. Alright, now we'll snug up the bottom line, and that's it. Our compressor's in. We just got to put our plug in. Let's do that right now. Listen for it to snap in, which it did. Alright, next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the drive belt on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to film it, but I'll try the best I can. Alright, so let's get up there and we'll continue. Okay, we got the drive belt back on. We actually put our power steering back into the bracket. Our low side and high side is connected. And now we're going to pump it down into a vacuum for probably about 15 minutes, half an hour, something like that. Probably about a half hour, actually. Okay, all right, we'll come back. We're going to run this 15 minutes, and we'll make sure it holds vacuum, and then we'll come back and vacuum it out one more time, and then we'll charge it up. All right, so now we're going to charge it, 1 pound. Actually, I'm going to put in just a slight bit more so that we're at the higher end. And we're going to charge it. Okay. Let's stick our thermometer inside the vent. Alright, let's turn it on. Let's go with maximum. You can hear your cooling fan running. Very important that that cooling fan is running. That cools the condenser down, and that's how the cooling takes place. Alright, these are the pressures. It's a little bit, it's in a normal range over here, just a shade high. The high side is a little bit high as well, but we are in the back of the shop, as you can see. We're in the back of the shop right now, so it's actually a little bit of a dead air space back here, but I'm sure that this is going to be fine. Let's go inside and take a peek at it. Now it's running for me, what, 30 seconds? Something like that, a minute. Let's take a look. There we go. Alright, we're going to shut this off for now. That's it, this job's done. I'm not going to bore you with putting that plastic cover up underneath the bottom. I think you can handle putting push pins back in. Alright, but that's it, we're done. We're going to put that on. I'm going to take it for a road test. Being that it's 90 plus degrees here today, I think I'll take this for a long test drive. Alright, anybody wants to talk to me about this job or any other, send me an email. I'll be more than happy to talk to anybody about anything. Alright, as always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.